דוד, שומרני אלוהים חוסי סיבוך, אמרת אדוני אדוני אותו, תתוסי בעולך, תקדושי מה שגורס עמו, ואני בו כציבון, ודו עצבו סמכם באור, תעשי לזכם מדום ובעל סרס שלוסון ארסו פוסוי, אדוני מוסחגים חוסי, אתה תמיד ברזי, וחולים נותנו בנעימים, אבל חלוס שופרו אלוהי, אבל רכס אדוני השם לא עצמני, אך לא סיסורי חייסוי, שיביסי אדוני לגיסוני, הנני בעל עמות, וכן שמח לי, ולא יאמרו לי, אך מסורים שעמודתך. כי לא סערו נפשי לשאול, לא ספק חסי בכל לראות שונה. תביאני אורח חיים, שמחה שמחוס אספונך, ואיבוס במילוכו הנצח. We have been summoned to pay final respects to a beloved and devoted daughter upon, daughter, granddaughter, sister, Neshama, Tehila Basri Yitzchak, it is difficult to find appropriate words to say at this time. And since, obviously, one cannot discuss the accomplishments of the departed as is usual, but there is, at a funeral, two elements, Yichud Shikhi and Yichud Chayim, the honor of the departed and the honor of the survivors. And about that there is much to be said. I read a bishop were entrusted 23 years ago with the care of the Neshama. Not just Neshama by name, but the Neshama in fact. And under the circumstances, knowing that the usual pride of accomplishment that one has in the wellspring would not be there, it would have been easy to take the easy way out and take the easy way out. But Mr. and Mrs. Heller understood that the Ribono Shel Olam entrusted a Neshama to their care. And while the physical Neshama Tehila, was in effect damaged, the Neshama, her soul, was pure, more pure than most, because it was a Neshama, Shvatam Tamchet, which never had a taste of sin. And they undertook what was imposed upon them by the Ribono Shel Olam, the care and the trust of that Neshama. And they saw to it that it was restored to the Ribono Shel Olam, and we called for it in as pristine a condition as it was when it wasn't touched in the record to begin with. The Dessler writes that because of love is not what one receives, but what one gives. And the Hellers gave the Neshama full love for the 23 years of her existence, ably assisted by the two grandmothers, Mrs. Howard and Mrs. Heller. But she got love and care, which was beyond compare. They were indeed, they understood that they were shown guardians, that they were entrusted with the care of the soul, and they lived up to that responsibility to the fullest. And they take consolation in knowing that they undertook the task that was given to them without asking questions as to why, just what do we have to do, and it was done. Done fully, done with love, done with unremitting, and straight underline that, unremitting, unending, day in, day out, devotion for 23 years. May that Neshama be a mitzvah for the family. They provide not just the model, the Chaim telling the Aruchim to form productive and beneficial lives of their sons until the day comes said, is intact. And the fulfillment of Bila Hamodas HaNetzach, Moach HaShemut Yidu Me'al Kol Panim, V'chemes HaAmodas V'Me'al Haaretz, Amen, Amen. Wolfgang Schwartz, the Rabbi of the shul, which the others and was being the most consoling and helpful during this time. So,
in trying times, we reach out and grab a Tehila. Find a spot in the world where you can travel and find a Jew who's saying Tehila. And next to him or her, there isn't a list of people that he or she is thinking about. And on that list, up until today, you didn't see the name Neshama Tehila Baskana. Tehillim and Tehila were synonymous. They are synonymous. I can't tell you the number of places I've been, different trips, rest stops, groups, where somebody will whip out one of those group of cards, remember the little 150 subsets that were presented on behalf of Tehila. I asked somebody, where did you get that? What do you mean? This is from Neshama Tehila last time. Little kids, older people, it didn't make a difference. Age, relationship, everybody knew about the little one, about Neshama Tehila. And everybody somehow felt a connection. Everybody somehow wanted to know what's new, how's she doing. That was Tehila. She always let you know how she was doing. I remember some of the trying times where medical doctors, so-called medical doctors, made the decision that things had gone for the worse. And I remember we stood together in a room, and he looked at me and said, Tehila will tell them when she's done. And she turned around, and she let them know, I'm here. I'm involved, I'm listening. Don't give up yet. I still have more to do. I have more to receive, which in turn is the process of the greatest opportunity for giving. I mentioned Tehila before, you know, we all get pretty inspired by David HaMelech, especially in our trying times. He always seemed to find somewhere in that book the right thing to say. You'd be pretty impressed if you were David HaMelech. And in fact, the Alpha Shimoni at the end of Tehillim points out, Amar Allah David HaMelech, they say about David HaMelech, B'shosh Siyam Sefer Tehillim Zacha Daito. When he finished his work on Tehillim, he got a little comfortable. Amar Lefanav, he turned to God and he said, Hey, Ribono Shel Olam, Yesh Davar Ba'olam She'amar Shira Kamosi? Is there anything or anyone in the world that you created who was able to sing a shira the way I sang shira? And as David HaMelech is sitting there with his arms up against the back of his head taking a bow for that Sefer Tehillim, Nizdamna Lo Tzvardeya Achas, a frog, came up next to David HaMelech. A little frog turned to David HaMelech. Amar Lo, the frog said to David, you're impressed? 150 songs of praise? Al tazuach daicha. Don't be so excited and proud of yourself. Shani omer shira yosem imcha. I sing songs that are way more intense. I have composed more compositions than you. V'al shira v'shira shani omeres. On each and every one of those songs, ani memshala shlosh meos mashal. I offer 300 interpretations, 300 Neshalim, 300 parables on each one of those songs that I composed. You just had 150. What are you getting so excited? When you really understand and can see God in every single step, and you find a message and bring a moment of solace, or a moment of comfort, or a moment of praise, over the big and the little, the large and the small, then you can begin to understand what I do when I offer a simple ribbon. And people stop and they think. My fellow frogs stop and they think about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Don't be so excited about what you do within your process. And of course, on that very pasuk where the Alpha Shimoni comments, Kol HaNeshama Tehalelka, the pasuk of Neshama Tehila, we find the same message that Neshama Tehila was all about. How many times did we sit and listen to the benching, which we did together? I remember the first time I heard it sitting in my house. He leaned over to me and he said to me, when we get to certain places, we have to get involved with Tehila response. What were the two words that Tehila responded to? Bavur Shemo Hagado, Hagado! Kelzam Farnes Lako, Lako! Hagado, Lako! And she would get excited, she would get responsive. Because she recognized at the moment when you stop on a word, Shemo Hagado, it gets you to stop doing things by rote. Recognize. It's an incredible moment. You are offering praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It doesn't matter who you are. The Almighty God appreciates that great word you offer in that moment. And He is that same Almighty God who is Metiv Lako, Lako. It doesn't matter whether you are a titan or whether you are in that or anything else in between. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Almighty, is looking and looking for us in the process. 2 words. How many of us stop and get excited over our opportunity to praise God with 2 fundamental lessons? But if you sat with Neshama Tehila, your soul, your whole existence would be inspired. Every breath for Tehila became an effort. And when you walked away from it, and from her, you walked away thanking God. I breathe easily. When you came to Tehila, somehow Ira and Alicia, the boys, the grandmothers, they always made sure that you knew that Tehila appreciated that you were there. And Tehila made it her business to try to get that message across. They amplified that message. What an incredible opportunity. She taught us a tremendous amount, because sometimes the greatest chesed that you can do for somebody else is to accept the chesed, to inspire somebody to realize in his or her life, just when you think you've given what you can always give more. Nobody taught us that lesson greater than Tehila. How many times were we told, no more? How many years, weekly, sometimes nightly, sometimes multiple times a night, she can't. Years would continue, life would continue, lessons would continue. She was an incredible person who told us, just when you think you're done giving, you can always give more. You can always do more. Yeah, she had a phenomenal supporting cast. She had 2 parents. She has 2 parents who do not give up. She has brothers that brothers should be inspired by. She had grandmothers, has grandmothers, who are mothers to a superstar level. The cast is incredible. Neighbors, community people, all taking those lessons that she had established. She had us all held. Her reach reached well beyond all the rest of us. Like the frog of David HaMelech, she told us and taught us, just when you think you're done, don't rest on your laurels. Take another flying leap. Go ahead, jump forward. You'll be able to achieve. Take the entire soul. Kol Neshama, hallelujah. The entire soul and every entire soul will have the opportunity to sing the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Wake up, look inside, bring it out of other people. Neshama Tzura, Tzura. Amen.
Those who are standing in the back, there are seats scattered around. Since there are several speakers to come, I want to find a place to sit. The first of the brothers, I want to speak a little bit of this.
There's a little bit of Torah in this, so in light of the major heavy hitters there in this room, it shows through what we're supposed to say. Since the temple was destroyed, prophecy has been taken from prophets and given to those without the ability to understand and to children. Rabbi Yochanan, Baba Basra told me. It's generally accepted that with each passing generation, the candle of our righteous ones, the power of our miracle workers, and the wisdom of our leaders dims. This is not to be taken offensively. You just won't hear any Orthodox Jew make a comparison between someone in the last few decades to Maimonides to Rabbi Akiva to the forefathers. They were drawing from closer to the source. The source has not left, it's just the location of the wells that have changed. Tehila's life has been so miraculous that I sometimes forget none of it would have been remotely possible without modern medicine and technology that lacking previous and ancient generations could never have hoped to support the life of Tehila. Tehila, like the sages of old, was a star, and I'm not referencing her fame, though she was deservingly famous, nor am I alluding to the way of singing with my father, or full body shaking, choking laughter would light up a room, or how even the memory of her hugs and kisses could illuminate my darkest days. I'm speaking of her gravitational pull, not simply the people that she drew, rather what she drew from those people. The way a baby can melt the iciest heart or have the most rigid person goo-goo gaga, Tehila had a way of returning the most simple of loving gestures, as long as you weren't intruding on Uncle Maishi, with a feeling like you were the source of life itself, which to her in those moments you were. Love and Tehila's existence are inseparable. You can tell because it's the only language she responds to. So if people wanted to engage her, which by some force of nature they always did, love was the way, and we were all better for it. No one embraced this more than my parents. No walk-up home run will ever be as sweet as watching my mom holding up Tehila as the two of them stumbled around the bases. Nor will any four-chord counterpoint harmony warm my soul like my dad was singing at the Shabbos table. No family sitcom will crack me up like the shockingly sassy sister-like interaction she had with my little brothers over rights to the TV. And no doggy face-licking will ever be as adorable as the ones she endured from Casey. Love was the only language she spoke, and if we live inspired by that memory, we carry on not only the beauty of her existence, but of all children like her. Past the seeker, as he prayed, came the crippled and the beggar and the beaten. And seeing them, the Holy One went down into deep prayer and cried, Great God, how is it that a loving Creator could see such things and yet do nothing about them? And out of the long silence, God said, I did something about them. I made you. This is what my adorable little sister, Neshama Tehila, illuminated for us. How to pray for her the way she prayed for us.
My sister, Tehila, was as pure as they come, the happiest little girl with the biggest heart. Sitting next to her as a young boy on the red mat, as we watched Uncle Mike's year barn together, seeing her in a wheelchair at my Little League baseball games, or those few trigger words that would make her laugh uncontrollably, made me feel like the happiest person alive. These are a few of the memories that I will cherish forever. Growing up with Tehila was like having the best teacher on the planet living in your house. By just sitting next to her, I immediately felt happy and thankful, learning not to take anything for granted and to appreciate every single moment. It enabled my parents to teach me that no matter what is happening, family always comes first. I'm now going to read part of my college essay titled, If I Could Be Someone Else for a Day. If I could be someone else for a day, I would be my 23-year-old sister, Tehila. Tehila was born with multiple congenital anomalies. The doctors didn't think she would live for a day, but being the fighter that she was, Tehila defeated the odds. She was hospitalized until she was 4 years old, until the day she was finally brought home. Although Tehila couldn't fully walk or speak full sentences, she had her own special way of communicating, which made the atmosphere around her so special. When Tehila was 17, she was in a school for special needs children when tragedy struck. She had a seizure and went into cardiac arrest. She was rushed to the hospital and given less than 24 hours to live. But then again, Tehila defeated the odds, and for the past 6 years she had been in a coma on a ventilator, unable to move or communicate. However, there is no doubt in my mind that Tehila listened to me when I spoke to her and prayed for me when I prayed for her. I would choose to be Tehila for a day because it would teach me many important lessons. Tehila taught me how to love unconditionally. Although I believe that I really love people, I can't begin to imagine the love that Tehila expressed and will continue to express towards me and my family. If I were Tehila for even one day, I know that she would have taught me how to love and appreciate everyone and everything in a way that I can't imagine. Although my brothers and I argue over who the favorite child is and why, we know that we're all fighting for the second spot. This is because Tehila was each of our favorite. After a long day at work for me or work for my parents, we knew that we could go to her nursing home in Clark, New Jersey, and sit or lay down next to her. We could talk to her for hours upon hours while she just listened and absorbed every word. Although most people would view this as a visit, I viewed it as a safe place where I could tell her about anything and everything. Another reason I would choose to be Tehila for a day is to teach and motivate me to be an inspiration to people all over the world. Tehila inspires a WhatsApp group in which people write down the chapter of Tehillim that they are reciting, goes in order until the last chapter. Today, there are over 100 participants from all over the world endlessly texting the chat. On average, the whole book of Tehillim is completed around 10 times per week. Tehila has also inspired my father to write a song that I call My Little One. He has sung in some of the largest theaters in America, including Madison Square Garden. My parents periodically receive emails and texts from strangers expressing how big his inspiration was and is to their families and how she has changed their lives. If I was Tehila for a day, it would teach me how to appreciate who I am today, although much of what I am today is because of her. She was and continues to be an inspiration to each and every person who knows her. She inspires us all to become better people. I hope that one day I'll learn how to pray for her the way she prays for all of us. I'm going to miss you, T. I love you. We were in camp, and we got called into the camp office. We were informed that Tehila was sick, and we had to go home. It wasn't until we got to the car that we were informed of how sick Tehila actually was. When we got to the hospital, I remember my mom sitting us down and telling us that she had a few days to live at best. This was 6 years ago. Tehila was one big miracle who brought joy to everyone around her. There's much life you put into action today. If someone gives you a cup of water that's half full, there are two ways to look at it. The first one, which is the easier one, is to be all upset about the fact that you only got half a cup of water. The other way to look at it is that you be thankful for the fact that you did get a half a cup of water. This relates to today, as we can look at Tehila's life and be angry with God as she was taken away from us so soon. Or we can look at the life she lived and look at how much joy she gave everyone around her and be thankful for the life Hashem did give her. That being said, today is the day to celebrate Tehila's life rather than to mourn it. Events like this bring family and friends together and make us stronger. And if there's one final message everyone should take out of today, that message is that everything happens for a reason. We may not know the reason now, but if you look around, she brought joy to so many people, taught us the true meaning of life, and brought us all together. Thank you.
Having heard from Tehila's generation, who is the father,
my heart is broken. I'm sure everyone here knows that this little girl was the apple of my eye. I can barely imagine continuing life without her. This gathering is extraordinary. When we visualize greatness, what do we see? We probably don't visualize the little girl, the little special needs girl like Tehila. However, we see a great love. We see a great doctor, PhD, healthy billionaire who does philanthropy everywhere and goes, does whatever. But this was Tehila's lesson to the world. She redefined extraordinary. She had her own special way. She enchanted people. She inspired people. She was much more than met the eye. This was the lesson that my wife Alicia and I learned from Tehila. As you know, my aunt mentioned the song "My Little One" that I composed and performed hundreds and hundreds of times. But those who know the song know it's a story. The story starts when Alicia was pregnant with Tehila. Early in the pregnancy, we went for what was to be a routine sonogram, and they found that something was desperately wrong. We were devastated. We were scared. We didn't know what was going to be. We had no idea who had experience with this. We didn't have this in our families. We didn't know what we were going to do. Would we have planned such a thing? Absolutely not. What we wanted was normal. We wanted healthy. Now fast forward more than 23 years. We ask ourselves, Alicia and I have spoken about this, if we could go back, would we do this differently? Would we change anything? The answer is no. The only thing that maybe we would change is that 6 years ago, we would have changed that. We would change that we would have Tehila every day of our lives. That we would change. But anything about her, this little girl was as close to perfect as you could get. And seeing what this extraordinary little girl accomplished in her life and how she influenced all of our lives, it's amazing to see the gathering for a little girl like this. It's a testament to that. We'd be hard-pressed to see this little girl, if we use our objective vision of what success is. You'd see her most of the time playing with the little music toys, standing in front of the TV and dancing to her videos. Is this changing the world? Well, let me tell you something about Tehila. Tehila was a conductor. Tehila was in a little corner, unobtrusive, quiet. Well, not always quiet. She made herself known when she had to. But she did her own little thing, happy, smiling. Happy if you came and spent time with her, anything you did for her, anything, she was happy, happy. But she was conducting. She was forming the world around her. That song that Aaron mentioned, yeah, I wrote it. That was her song. And the musicians in the audience know what it takes to write a song. It takes weeks, sometimes longer. You write and you rewrite. That song fell on me whole from Shamayim. It was written in less than a half hour. It came down on me just in one fell swoop and it was there, complete. That's not normal. What that was a gift from my Tehila. She gave me that song. And that song was a moment. When I performed it for the first time, there was a moment in my career that could never ever be matched by anything else. It was the orchestra, the Steinway piano, and the video guy floating around the room, and I realized that something much bigger than me was at play. And it was Tehila, a little stick, conducting, giving me that song, and she gave me that gift. And that's who she was. In a little corner, inspiring people. You heard about the healing group from Aaron, how people were so inspired by her, the fire that they just drew from Tehila. Not explainable, just they do. They met her. Even if they didn't meet her, there was something about her that exuded this and they absorbed it. And it funneled into that group of people who were saying all day, popping up, numbers, one after the other. And Tehila would get finished over and over and over again. And I never saw anything like that. And I have to say that all the people who were involved in that, many are in this room, tremendous was for Tehila, and she was lying there unresponsive. I am sure it's around her. Many of you remember when she first had the cardiac arrest 6 years ago. That had to be the worst moment. Other than this. Getting a call like that. We went to school in the morning. We have our hugs like every other day, and then we get a call that some cardiac arrest. They're trying to revive her in school. Go rushing to the hospital. And this little fighter wasn't ready to go. And she held on. She astounded everybody. The doctors could not believe that she held on. But she held on barely. And from that point on, the damage was such that she couldn't respond. She couldn't breathe on her own anymore. They had to put her back on a ventilator that she hadn't been on all the years since she was a baby. And that was the new life with Tehila. But during that time, I mean, this all affected people in such a way that Alicia and I, we didn't even know how to tell people the pain that people would have in hearing what happened to Tehila. This sunny little girl, and what happened. As I said, I'm gonna write it in an email, a blog on the internet, because we couldn't do it. We couldn't keep telling people over and over again what happened to her. It hurt too much. So we wrote it down. We explained exactly what happened from beginning to end, because we know people want to know exactly what happened to her and how she's doing. I wrote it all down. I sent it out, and that was really supposed to be it, just to let people know. But people wanted to know how she's doing. They wanted to hear about her. They were connected to her. They wanted to know what's in her, what's doing, what's the progress. So I kept writing. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting because it was so hard. The whole thing was so hard to write. And then I would have to think about things to write. But suddenly things were popping into my head to write. Always things, otherworldly things that just entered my head. And I said after a while, this is Tehila again. Even now from her little place where she can't even move, she's still putting things out there. She's still communicating with everybody. She's still communicating and affecting the world. And now it's got to go through me, through this blog. And I continued it. Each time I wrote, I was exhausted. Alicia remembers how I would sit and I would write, and she would say, "Don't you have other things to do?" "Yeah, I do, but I gotta do this." I did it, and I did it again, and I said, "Oh, that's it. That was the last time." Then a few days later, boom, this needs to be written, and I would put it out there. This blog, over a few years, developed into about 40 pages, things that thoughts that were Tehila's thoughts. I probably haven't done it in a few years. But I have to tell you, I couldn't believe it. I was in Clark Rehabilitation Center where Tehila was. This is just a few weeks ago. And I was stopped in the hallway by a nurse, a Jamaican nurse. And she said to me, "I read your blog about Tehila. She's very, very special, and I'm taking very special care of her." And then, yesterday, I was sitting in the funeral parlor talking to Keith. Thank you very much, because he was so kind to us. And he said to me, "By the way, last night, I read that blog that you wrote." He said, "This is one extraordinary young lady. We know who she is. We take very special care of her. We're watching her. And we're treating her with the proper respect." And I had identified the body. expecting what you see maybe in a mortuary. And I walked into this room, and there was the shomer. It was a rather large room, and in the corner, on a pedestal, like the crown of jewels, was Tehila with this glow. It was otherworldly. I have to tell you something else, just to give you an idea about the effect and the waves that went out from Tehila. We have some very special friends who live in Yerushalayim, Yerushalmi. Names are Yael and Shammai Kenan. Many of you have met them when they've come to visit us here in America. Shammai is involved in many different things. And very, very close to them. These are people who became very close to my father-in-law, Shalom, and my mother-in-law. Back in the day when he was building things, and Shammai would get involved, and they became so close that it transcended that. And when I came into the family, again, I was fused into this bond with them. And I speak to them almost every day in Israel. We're just that close. And one of the things that we've always spoken about is we always wanted to live in Israel. And a lot of people know that. We've always planned that. And we know that Hashem plans much better than we do. And shortly after we were married, we had to deal with all these complications or whatever, and we just weren't going anywhere. We had to care for Tehila. And so, this is where we've been. But, anytime you come in from Israel, anytime we're with them together, we talk about how we can possibly plan to do this. And of course, one of the major things that we had to figure out is how we're going to provide for Tehila, the medical aspects, the social aspects, the living circumstances, the nurse, whatever we needed. It was very, very complicated. And then 6 years ago, when this happened to her, and we were speaking, we said, well, if it was complicated before, this is going to be crazy. So Shammai said, in his inimitable fashion, he says, I will take care of it. We didn't really know what he meant, but we used to visit Tehila when he was here together with Yael, and we went. She was in Voorhees Pediatric Facility at the time, and we walked in and we just saw him looking at everything, and then he met with the chief doctor, Dr. Caitlin Papas Tamales. We call her Dr. Caitlin for obvious reasons. And he was very impressed with her, and he had a very intimate conversation about what she does and how she does it, and then he says to me, I'm bringing this to Israel. Because we want Tehila in Israel, and if I have to bring this to Israel, that's what I'm going to do. So he happens also, among the many things he does, he's the chairman of the board of Herzog Hospital. So he went back to the board and he said, by the way, Herzog is a geriatric hospital for older people. He says, we are bringing a wing for children who are dependent on ventilators, and we're going to build a place where they're going to have a quality of life, and I'm going to tell you how to do it because I saw it can be done. So they said, great idea. And they said, okay, how are you doing it? He says, we're going to build it. He says, what are you going to do for money? He says, I'll raise it. I'll raise the money. He said, you raise the money, we build it. Shammai ran around the world. I don't know what the exact number is. I'm not exactly sure how it's structured. He raised somewhere between $40 and $70 million to build this wing. And he built it. And he built it where there's more than 100 beds for children like Tehila. Right now, more than 80 of them are occupied, and it's running, and it's beautiful, and they have these kids who had no quality of life tethered to machines where they have a beautiful life there. Everything that they had in Voorhees for Tehila. And we saw it. It was amazing. That's there because of Tehila. That's That's what she does. That's what she did. So you try and think about what success is. We have all kinds of ideas. We just don't know. We just don't know. We have moments. You know, you're here. This was not just a little special needs girl. This was a great person, a great being, a great presence. And so many of you, all of you were part of it. You were part of her access. You were part of her world. And this world was so far everywhere. And she touched so many people. And we were in the center of it. Because we embraced her. Hashem gave her to us. He told us, give up. It's too complicated. She won't survive. And we said, Hashem's going to decide. This is a little girl. We fight for her. We fight for her. We fight for her. And Hashem gave us 23 years. For me, she was just light. Just to see her and hug her, even after she couldn't respond anymore, just to be there, to see her, to sing in her ear. I could feel that she was with me, that she could respond in her ways, very subtle ways, even after she couldn't tell me what she wanted me to sing, which she always used to. But it was a very long trek, the illnesses, and we almost lost her so many times, but she always fought her way back, miraculously. And my beloved brother, David Goldwasser, used to call her his miracle girl, because that's what she was. And any time we were behind the 8 ball, and it happened so many times, he would say, no. She's our miracle girl. She's going to pull through. But you know, there was a lot of work. There was a lot of work between those miracles. And unless, I guess you'd see, I've been trying, Hashem works through people, through things. And for me, I was there to laugh and play and sing with my little girl, and look at her and she would look okay. If she didn't look okay, I could tell. But sometimes I thought I could tell, but I couldn't tell. I thought she looked fine. And my wife, Alicia, would take a look and she would say, something's not right. She'd pull out a stethoscope and she'd listen and she'd say, I hear something's not right. And Alicia was always right. And when we would go to the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, for many years, that's where we used to go for care. And we were there many, many times. Unfortunately, for all kinds of ailments and things that she needed. There was a couple of times at the beginning, and by the way, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, for those who know, is the best children's hospital in the country and probably the world. So you have the best, most competent doctors there. And there were a couple of doctors at the beginning who dared contradict Alicia when she said something was wrong. And they regretted it. Because Tehila got very sick when they made their decision, overruled her, and they never did it again. She would walk in there, and the doctor saw her coming, and they went, she's here. They deferred to my wife. She was the guardian that gave us this gift. I don't know that we would have had it for 23 years, but for my Alicia, who guarded her on the deepest levels. For this, I thank you for this gift. I know how much you did. I know how much you did scheduling and nurses and everything. You always had the foresight. You were always the one who had to make it work. It all fell on you. I was there to sing to her and to hold her and to do the jokes and to, I did all the heavy lifting. I stayed, slept on floors and, in hospitals and did all that. It's because of you. And Tehila adored you. When she saw you, she looked up. She said, "Mommy," she would pull you in. And she would give you this kiss, and just do it, do it. And we had a name for them, we called them kisses. I'm having a difficult moment because there are so many people who were so involved with Tehila in her life, who went to see her. He did so many things for us during all these difficult times. You know who you are. You know who you are. I'm scared to death about mentioning people because inevitably I'm going to have a miserable day, a miserable week, and a miserable life because I'm going to be thinking about that one person that I didn't mention. Please forgive me. You all know who you are. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of her life. And I know you were a part of her life because she was so much a part of yours. She made it easy, I know. But those who really gave of themselves during our difficult times, stepped in, visited her when we couldn't be there. We have not enough words to express the gratitude to all of those people, to those who are here, to those who aren't here, maybe those I asked to the video because so many people ask me, I can't be there, please can you video? Because so many people wanted me not to see me speak. They just want to be a part of Tehila. That's the magic of this little girl. And our boys. Yehuda, Aaron, Moshe, Yosef. We all feel like our family is incomplete without Tehila. You boys rallied around Tehila in such an amazing way. You are guardians. I can only describe it, I had to experience what would go on in our house. We had 4 Hashem, healthy boys, and things were always flying in the house. Balls, anything that wasn't nailed down would be flying. And Tehila had her space right in the middle of the den, and it was sacrosanct. And nobody impinged on Tehila's territory. It didn't matter what else was going on, they respected Tehila's sanctum. And she would sit there peacefully playing with her toys, and things would be whizzing by her in every direction. It was like there was a bubble around her, like you see in the cartoons with the character that wanders onto the highway and everything misses. That was what it was. And to you, boys, she could do no wrong. Except for the time that she was changing the channels while you were trying to watch something, because she wanted to change it back to Barney or whatever she thought she could get, other than what you were watching, and you approached Mommy and asked for some rope. She said, "Why do you need rope?" This is not recent, by the way. So finally, Alicia figured out they wanted to tie her up so that she would want to tie her to her chair so she could stop changing the channel. But she was so cute. Even when she was doing these little mischievous things, she was so cute and so lovable. But there was more than that. There was a lot we had to do for Tehila. There were a lot of difficult times. most difficult times, and I say this from the Aaron Kodesh, not once in 23 years did we hear a complaint from any of them. They were on the team. They were an intimate part of everything that Alicia and I had to do with Tehila. They were right there with us, and there was no question that anything that we had to do for our TT, we were going to do. It was never any problem from them. But there's something that I need you boys to know. And I think you know on some level, but I really have to tell you, is that by watching Mommy and I with Tehila, you also knew that notwithstanding all the extra attention we had to give her and the time and the effort, whatever we had to do for her, you know that the way we love Tehila is the way we love each and every one of you. And that no matter what we would have had to do for you, that you know until the end of the earth, we're going to do it for you, just like we had to do it for Tehila. And on some level you knew that. And you know that. And you never felt like you gave up anything. Yehuda, the first, I think, 4 or 5 years of his life, had all of his birthday parties in a hospital. Because that's where we were. Tehila was in a hospital for the first 4 years. So, Baruch Hashem, we thank Hashem for every blessing. We thank Hashem for the training. Every day we had Tehila, we thank Hashem. And look at you, and we see the talented, handsome, menschlich fellas that you're growing up to be. And it's supposed to, like what we had to do for Tehila, for the most part we just had to stand by and watch and pay. But it's amazing. You make us so proud of who you are. And you know that Tehila is a very big part of this. Tehila is a very big part of who Mommy and I have become. And you were a part of it. This is our group. And Tehila was our crown jewel. We are who we are because of that. And so, you know, people come over to us and they say, oh, the wonderful parents you are, what you did, I admire, and I really, really thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please understand. It's Tehila. It's Tehila. We did what we needed to do for our child. We do what we have to for our children. And every person who says that to me, and I say that to them, you would do the same. You take what Hashem gives you, it's Tehila speaking. You take what Hashem gives you, and you embrace it. You make it your own, and you're proud because of it. And from the moment Tehila was born, she was our badge of honor. That's why it's so hard to let her go. One last thing. I could tell many, many stories, but if I did, my wife would bury me too today. She may still. Last one. This is an important one. Okay. Everybody's laughing at me. But you have to hear this last story. When Tehila was 1.5 years, she had her first very serious cardiac arrest. Well, she had one before that, but this one went on and on. 40 and she was in cardiac arrest. She was a year and a half old. She was in Voorhees Pediatric Facility. And Alicia was with her at the time. She called me up and she said, I heard her come. And I jumped in the car and I raced to Voorhees Pediatric Facility. It was a 100-mile trip. It was the worst trip of my life. And I got there and they had already moved her to the local hospital. I went running to the local hospital. And Tehila was between life and death. And they had a helipad at that hospital because they needed to move her into inner city Philadelphia to get the proper care. And we walked her out. It was midnight to the helipad. It was dark. It was gloomy. And we got up to the helicopter and they start loading Tehila in, and Alicia starts following her into the helicopter. And they said, I'm sorry, ma'am, only paramedics. You can't go with her. So the door shut. Off they go, and we look at each other. We said, what do we do now? We don't know if she's going to be alive. And she gets there. Well, what do we do? I took out my phone. And I called our beloved friend, David Goldwasser, just to tell him what just happened. Through my tears, I just what happened to Tehila, cardiac arrest. And then I was standing on the helipad in the middle of the night, looking at each other. We don't know what do we do? What? There was silence at the other end. And he says, Rabbi, I promise you, we will dance together at her bas mitzvah. Fast forward more than 10 years, when we were making bas mitzvah invitations, I quoted our Rav David, Rabbi, I promise you, we will dance together at her bas mitzvah, and we want to invite you all to come and participate in that dance. Many of you were there at the bas mitzvah, so many of you remember this. And one of the highlights, today among many, was called up Rav David, and we had our dance. And it was one of the most happy moments of my life. And now, 23 years later, after her birth, 11 years after her bas mitzvah, with my broken heart, to call upon Rav David Goldwasser, can say some words about a sweet, beloved Neshama Tehila, Rav David.
Motzei Shabbat, I got a text from Rabbi and Alicia to call immediately. I was a little late. If I tell you, with all that I know, and all that I'm aware of, in my life, I never expected to hear the words from a buyer that Neshama Tehila is now in the Ginzei Roman. is interesting. Batya, the daughter of Paro, that killed how many thousands, bare hands. All of a sudden, she turned into a merciful, loving woman that helped to save Moshe Rabbeinu. How was it possible? The great Belzer Rebbe says the following. When she opened up and she took the wrapping away from the baby and she looked at the face of Moshe Rabbeinu, it had such an unbelievable influence on her that at that moment her heart melted and she turned from this to that. Neshama Tehila had that power. No matter who saw her, no matter when it was, no matter on what occasion, no matter what state of living she was at, when a person saw her, he or she was immediately transformed. All the bad left, all the negative left, all the ideas that are anti-our hashkafa in the world exited, came in, a lei lahavin, a heart to understand and a heart to feel. Rabbi and Elisha, they taught the world and they teach the world a very important chinuch in the shavius, in the worth of life. They are truly great people. But I did find that they have one chisaron. They have one lacking. And I want to talk about it just for a second. The problem is they are not good listeners. Not at all. When the medical staff said many years ago, okay, you could say goodbye, the medical staff said you don't have to expend more effort. They wouldn't listen. When it came time for so many people that they were spending Shabbos, Yom Tov, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, apart, 3 days, one after the other in the hospital, not going home, not eating, not sleeping. And they would say to Rabbi and Elisha, you really should go home, you have to take care of yourself. They didn't listen. In all the times anybody would ever say anything other than, this daughter is going to live and thrive and be well. In all the times that someone would say, well, you know, we're not sure, they didn't listen. They're not good listeners. By their not listening, they taught the world, they taught everybody in this world the greatness of human life, what it means to be able to live with emunah shalema, the greatest faith in bitachon, never to yield for 1 second, never to let their guard down. The guys, my best friends, they never said no, they never said a word, they never complained. Ari and Elisha, parents, beyond, kochot nelamim, hidden powers. I don't know how they had it. I don't know at all. Just a simple statement from the Ramchal. V'hu klal ha'yisurim shesam yisbarav shemo v'skuloso. Hashem gave suffering the power. Lahasir me'oso adam ha'kirosahu. To dispel insensitivity. V'yishor zach u'boher. Allowing us to become pure and clear. Mulchan l'tovah b'zman ha'ra'oi, prepared for the ultimate good at its time. Ve'emlam kefi shiur ha'kirus shekibel adam b'ma'asov, as much of the suffering that a person has, the purification process, kaf yu asurim she'tztarfu l'tzrufo. And so, is the amount of pain in this world that was given to purify and to make us holy. Today is a day of tremendous pain. Nobody ever thought that this was going to be. Boreolo sees such wonderful people, the community and the Rabban, and everybody and everything that was done over all the years, the tremendous feeling of Actus, bigger than any other community. I never saw anything like it. Sometimes I would go to the hospital and meet someone, and they would say, "Oh, you don't know us, but we knew your wife, and we just came because we're not too far in the neighborhood, and this is a very special girl." The people that she united throughout the world, it's amazing, amazing thing. The koyach of one girl who lived her life pure. The Rav was on the money. Godel Lako. Neshama Tehila, you go up to the Godel Lako. Ask for the wonderful family that you have. Ask for your special grandmothers, the Sheikhayo. Ask for the community, ask for Klal Yisrael. Tell the Ribbon Shalom what you know. Ask that we should all have Yeshuas and Refuahs. Ask that the Gula should come and Eretz Yisrael should be protected. Ask that we should all be united together. Kitzu Yivanu Shot Liyafu. Mocha Hashem Lokim Jimu Me'akupan.
After the Noelachmin and the Terem of Kriya, we will proceed to the interment at the JEC Cemetery at 411 in the Elizabeth line. Those who are not going to the Beis Adam should follow for at least 8 feet behind the hearse when it starts moving to fulfill the mitzvah of Havlayas HaNes. The Shiva will be observed in the Heller home at 135 Wilder Street at this night. There will be a minyan from tomorrow to Sunday at 8 o'clock, and tonight through Thursday evening for Mincha at 8:20. The family has requested that there be no condolence calls made after 9:30 at night, with the exception of Motzei Shabbos, which is just about when it will begin, not that they're there beyond 11 o'clock. Will everybody please rise for the Morah.
David mentioned that I don't listen. I also don't read, apparently, because I skipped an entire paragraph where I talked about the grandmas. I had written in there about how when Tehila came home from the hospital, how you converted your living room into a hospital for her. And how you cared for her and how you were part of everything. And now being able to bring this girl home and make her a part of our lives. Mom, how much she loved her, how proud you were of her. Daddy, I used to sing his songs with her. I just also want to mention how grateful we are through all the years of being in the hospital. I can't say enough about High Lifeline. They got us through so many times. We have the president here, Modi Rothberg, who's here with us. Anybody who wants to donate something in her memory, please donate to that organization which helped us so much in being able to keep her well and have her in our lives. So as far as the Kelmali is concerned, I told Rabbi Schwartz yesterday, I said, no way. But then about 5 minutes later, I had this little voice in my ear, you're not going to sing for me? Are you kidding? I said, okay. She said, I'll get you through. This is for Tehila.
Neshama, Tehila, Shalecha, שאנחנו בלנדניתס הקרבת הזכרת משפטה מגן העדן תמנו כתבה לכן נברם Yasmina besedik nafam yalamim Vitzur l'chaim et nishmatam Adonai u'nachalatam et haruach Neshama, Amishava, Amen.
books, we'll ask everyone to follow the family out of the sanctuary. If you're coming to the cemetery where the register books were, our direction sheets to the cemetery, please take us out of those directions and then start making your way to your cars. Thank you.